Many CELPIP candidates put in hours of preparation for the speaking test, yet still find themselves stuck at the same score. They practice over and over, but their results don't improve. Why? Because hard work alone isn't enough. You also need to know what the examiners are looking for and how to show it in your responses. The truth is, candidates who reach CLB 9, 10, and 12 don't just practice more, they practice smarter. They follow a clear strategy that targets the skills the CELPIP examiners assess. This is the approach candidates use inside our CELPIP packages. They discover how strategic preparation can make a real difference in their results. In this video, I'll share 10 tips and tricks to help you improve your CELPIP speaking score. By the end, you'll know what it takes to score high and how you can get there. Let's start with tip number 1. Understand what each of the 8 speaking tasks is actually testing. This is important because each one works differently and requires a different approach. Task 1 is called giving advice. You have 90 seconds to speak. In this task, you need to give thoughtful, well-supported suggestions to someone in a specific situation. Task 2 is talking about a personal experience. You need to tell a story about something that happened to you using the past tense and descriptive details. Task 3 is describing a scene. For this task, you look at an illustration and describe what's happening. Task 4 is making predictions. Here, you look at a picture and talk about what you think will happen in the future. Task 5 is comparing and persuading. In this task, you first choose between 2 options and then convince someone that your choice is better. Task 6 is dealing with a difficult situation. For this task, you explain a decision to someone while remaining respectful yet firm. Task 7 is expressing opinions. Here, you answer a "do you think?" question and support your position with several well-developed reasons. Lastly, task 8 is describing an unusual situation. This task asks you to describe a picture of something strange to a person on the phone who can't see it. This matters because each task has different timing, structure, and tone. What works well in task 1 won't automatically work in task 7. When you understand the focus of each task, you can prepare much more effectively. This helps you stop treating all 8 tasks the same way. Tip number 2 is to stop repeating the same words and use synonyms instead. Vocabulary is one of the 4 scoring dimensions in CELPIP speaking. It assesses your range, precision, and how naturally you use words and phrases. If you repeat the same words throughout your response, it signals to the examiner that your vocabulary is limited. This remains true even if your ideas are strong. This is one of the most common mistakes candidates make. They find a word that works and then use it several times in the same response without realizing it. For example, in task 1, you might use the word good when describing each suggestion. You might say, "This is a good idea," "This is also a good option," or "This would be a good approach." The meaning is clear. However, repetitive vocabulary can limit your score. Instead, vary your word choices throughout. You can use beneficial, worthwhile, effective, valuable, or advantageous, depending on the context. Building this habit takes practice, but it's an effective way to help improve your vocabulary score. As you prepare, challenge yourself to identify your most overused words. You can then replace them with stronger, more varied alternatives. The next tip is to use conditionals and modals throughout your responses. This is an effective way to demonstrate your varied range of grammar. This is one of the areas the listenability dimension assesses. Features like this are often found in CLB 9 and CLB 10 responses. Learning these patterns can help you reach higher scores. Modals are words like could, would, might, should and must. Conditionals are structures like, if you do this, you will, or if I were in your position, I would. These structures allow you to express possibilities, advice, and hypothetical situations. Using them can help you convey degrees of certainty. This is often useful across multiple speaking tasks. For example, in task 1, instead of saying, do this, you can say, if I were you, I would consider doing this because it would give you more flexibility. In task 4, you can use conditionals for predictions. You can say, if the current trend continues, it's likely that the area will become significantly more crowded over the next few years. In task 7, conditionals let you explore implications. For instance, you could say, if this policy were introduced, it could have a major impact on small business owners. These structures can demonstrate your grammatical range while helping your responses sound more thoughtful. They reflect the language that fluent English speakers often use. Using them can help you create a positive impression. Here is tip number 4. Choose the option you can talk about most easily. Do not pick the one that seems more impressive or correct. This approach is essential for task 5. Task 5 is called comparing and persuading. In part 1, you are shown 2 options and you choose one silently during your 60-second preparation time. In part 2, someone challenges your choice and you have 60 seconds to persuade them that your option is better. Many candidates make the mistake of choosing the option that looks more logical or socially responsible. They often think the examiner will favor it. However, the examiner is not evaluating which option is better. They are evaluating how well you communicate. Choose the option you can support with the most ideas and specific details. This will help you speak with more confidence. During your preparation time, quickly scan both options and ask yourself, which one gives me more to talk about? Which one can I defend with concrete reasons and examples? That is the option you can choose. It does not matter if it is a less obvious choice or if the other option seems more practical. What matters is that you fill your 60 seconds with a clear, well-supported and persuasive argument. You can do that effectively when you are speaking about something you feel comfortable with. Now, here is something important. Many CELPIP candidates think that knowing a few speaking tips is enough to get a strong result, but it's not enough. To do well in CELPIP speaking, you need to understand exactly what the tasks are about, what the examiners are looking for, and how to demonstrate those skills in your response. That's exactly what we teach in our CELPIP packages. Our students get step-by-step guidance on how to approach the speaking test effectively, so they feel confident and ready on test day. They learn how the speaking tasks are designed and what skills they need to give high-scoring responses. Our CELPIP packages include lessons for all tasks, sample answers, mock tests, templates, and much more. If you want expert guidance for your CELPIP preparation, click the link below to learn more. Let's move on to tip number 5. Aim to give 3 well-developed ideas rather than 1 or 2 vague ones. This applies across several tasks, including task 1, task 6, and task 7. Many candidates give 1 or 2 ideas and then repeat themselves. They often slow down because they've run out of things to say. This hurts both their content and coherence and task fulfillment score. It shows the examiner that their ideas are not fully developed. For example, in task 7, the question might ask, do you think that working from home should be the standard for all office jobs? A lower scoring response might say, yes, it's more flexible. A higher scoring response would say yes and provide further detail. It could explain that it reduces commute time and stress. It might also mention that it increases productivity for workers and lowers costs for companies. Each of those points is then supported with a specific detail or example. The key is not just to have 3 ideas. You should develop each one with at least 1 or 2 supporting sentences. This depth of development is what separates low-scoring responses from high-scoring responses. Tip number 6 is to know the scoring criteria. To score high, you should understand how your response is evaluated. Once you know what the examiners are looking for, you know what to demonstrate. CELPIP Speaking uses 4 scoring criteria: content and coherence, vocabulary, listenability, and task fulfillment. Each one carries equal weight in your final score. To score high in content and coherence, your ideas should be well organized and fully developed. You should also include specific supporting details. For vocabulary, you need to use a wide range of precise and natural-sounding words and phrases. For listenability, your response should be easy to follow. Use a good rhythm and varied sentence structures with minimal hesitation. Lastly, for task fulfillment, you need to address all parts of the question. Make sure you use an appropriate tone and speak for the full time given. Understanding these 4 areas gives you a clear target. Instead of wondering what a good response looks like, you know which skills to demonstrate when you speak. Tip number 7 is to mix up your sentence structures throughout your response. This is a key factor in your listenability score. This score looks at your grammar and your ability to use varied sentence structures. When you use the same basic pattern for every sentence, your response can sound monotonous and limited. High-scoring candidates often mix different sentence types. They often use simple, compound, and complex sentences. These may include subordinate clauses, relative clauses, conditionals, and gerund phrases. For example, in task 3, don't just say, "There is a man, he is standing near a bus stop, he is looking at his phone." Instead, you can give a stronger response. In the foreground, a man is standing near a bus stop who appears to be scrolling through his phone, possibly waiting for directions. This sentence combines a relative clause, a present participle phrase, and a natural transitional structure. As you practice, pay attention to how you construct your sentences. If most of your sentences start with I and follow the same subject-verb pattern, you can work on combining ideas. Adding clause variety can improve how natural and fluent your response sounds. Tip number 8 is to adjust your tone to match the task. This is something many candidates overlook, but it can directly impact your task fulfillment score. This score assesses whether you have used an appropriate tone throughout your response. Different tasks call for different tones. For example, task 1 requires a warm, helpful, and supportive tone because you are giving advice to someone in a personal situation. Task 6 requires a firm but empathetic tone because you need to explain a decision the other person may not like. Task 7 requires a confident and assertive tone, as you are defending a personal opinion on an important topic. A common mistake is to use a casual conversational tone for every task. For instance, in Task 6, if someone is unhappy about a decision you've made, it is inappropriate to sound dismissive or too relaxed. You need to acknowledge their feelings and explain your reasoning clearly and respectfully. Paying attention to tone shows the examiner that you understand the social context of the task. It shows you can adjust your language accordingly. This is a sign of a sophisticated and capable English speaker. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos that you actually want to watch. Now, let's continue with 2 more essential tips for CELPIP speaking. Here is tip number 9. Speak at a natural pace. Avoid speaking too fast or too slow. This can directly impact your listenability score. This score looks at how easy it is to listen to and understand your response. Pace is one of the most important factors in that dimension. It is also something many candidates struggle to control under test pressure. Some candidates rush through their response because they're nervous. Others worry about running out of time. When you speak too quickly, your words can blur together and your pronunciation suffers. The examiner has to work harder to follow your ideas. Other candidates speak too slowly because they are searching for words. This can create long, uncomfortable pauses that interrupt the flow of the response. The ideal pace is the one you would use when explaining something to a friend in a calm conversation. You are not racing to finish and you're not dragging. You are speaking with enough control that each sentence lands clearly before the next one begins. The best way to develop a natural pace is to practice with a timer and record yourself. When you listen back, pay attention to whether you sound rushed or hesitant. Over time, you can develop a feel for the right rhythm. This will help you sound confident, clear, and easy to follow from start to finish. Finally, tip number 10 is to stress keywords naturally as you speak. This is a key factor under the listenability dimension. This score looks at your rhythm, intonation, and how easy your response is to follow. Candidates who speak in a flat, even tone can be harder to follow. They may sound less fluent, even if their grammar and vocabulary are strong. In natural English speech, speakers stress the words that carry the most important information. Take a look at this sentence. The most effective strategy is to plan your response before you start speaking. A fluent speaker would naturally emphasize most effective, plan, and before you start. This helps the listener know where to focus their attention. It also makes the response easier to process. Practice this by reading your sample responses out loud. Deliberately place stress on the key content words in each sentence. Over time, this can start to feel natural rather than forced. Varying your intonation can also help. Try rising slightly when introducing a new idea and dropping at the end of a completed thought. These small adjustments can make a noticeable difference in how polished and confident you sound to the examiner. These are 10 tips you must know to score highly across all 8 tasks of the CELPIP speaking test. If you want expert guidance for your CELPIP preparation, check out our CELPIP packages using the link below. Our packages include step-by-step guidance, mock tests, templates, and other useful resources to help you feel confident on test day. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their CELPIP score too. See you in the next video!